up, beautiful souls? Super excited for this podcast episode number 3, the multi-dimensional mind. I'm going to go ahead before we jump right into it and set the frequency. By the love of original eternal source consciousness field, we have come, we have come, we have come. We set a barrier now of the frequency of unconditional love on the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual plane around this podcast episode, all ears that are listening. By the truth of original eternal source consciousness field, we stand. We welcome in the frequency of truth, for the truth will set us free, and we are free indeed, and all the soul wants is to be free. So we welcome in and open our throat chakra to the frequency of truth. By the power of original eternal source consciousness field, we fly. Spread your wings, angel. It's time to fly. And so today we're going to talk about the potential that is within each one of us. So I give an invitation to each person listening to this to step into their power unapologetically, unconditioned, unprogrammed, a unique, oscillatory, powerful, vibratory reflection of Almighty Living Creator Source. For such an important time in humanity's history, Earth is calling out for men and women who will step into their power. So we step into our power now. By the grace of original eternal source consciousness field, I now sanctify and renew this podcast episode as under the divine protectorate of the original eternal life founders races, Messiah Hana councils of Aquarion, master councils of Aquarion. Thy kingdom, queendom is coming now. Thy will is now being done on earth in this podcast as it is in the highest heavens, for the highest joy, good, and abundance. For everybody listening to this podcast in this lifetime and the one to come, we give gratitude in advance. Taisha into Doe, Taisha into Doe, Taisha into Doe. Spoken as it is stated now, and so it is done. Rashi or Christ are around us now. All right, guys, so I'm super excited about this one. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I shout out to Ashiana Dean for transcribing this information through. We're going to talk about the multi-dimensional mind. Why is it important, especially for such a time as this in humanity's history? It is vital, it is important for the truth to be known that we are multi-dimensional. And so this is the science behind the multi-dimensional mind, how to access your superconscious mind, how to access your soul, because in that mind is contained your purpose. In that mind is contained information that can lead you on your highest evolutionary potential. And this has been hidden. This science has been hidden from humanity for a long time through the dark ages, the last 26,000 year cycle, but it's now coming to light for such a time as this, so that we can wake up, embody our soul, get on our highest evolutionary potential, create peace on earth, peace within and peace without, and really from there become the limitless beings that we are created to be. So here it is. The mind is an attribute of consciousness. The mind does not produce consciousness. Consciousness is not a product of the mind, but rather the mind is a structure of energy that consciousness creates and uses in order to participate within realities with differentiated perceptions so that it can experience individuality, God making love with God, because God, source, had an intention, a desire to know itself. It split itself into many, many different forms. And consciousness, what Jesus called the Father, created the mind so that it can experience different perceptions in the third dimensional reality. So how is the mind created? What is it made of? Consciousness creates the mind from what? So current science has, they're talking about now, certain scientists are talking about the God particle. But way before that, consciousness becomes more dense as it comes down into matter. The least dense material that it first materialized into is called source particles. Source particles group together and they form a cluster, if you want to call it, of what quantum morphogenetic physics calls chelons, which are minute crystalline structures which form the blueprint for matter manifestation. So imagine these small source particles clustering together, forming these crystalline chelons, and these crystalline chelons come together, forming what Rupert Sheldrake, look it up, was talking about this morphogenetic fields. So all of matter is existing on this crystalline blueprint called morphogenetic fields. So, for example, when a diabetic cuts off his leg, they can experience what is called phantom pain. That is because even though the matter, the actual physical leg, isn't there, the morphogenetic field or the blueprint, the crystalline blueprint for that leg is still there, and therefore they can experience phantom pain. So consciousness downsteps into source particles, into these crystals, into the morphogenetic field, and that is what the mind is created upon. So consciousness creates the mind, so the mind can experience individuality and different perceptions. Perception is a frequency filter based upon your life experience, which the mind then interprets and administers to the body. So imagine as frequency comes into the mind, that perspective based upon everything you've experienced, your conditioning, your individual conditioning, your racial conditioning, your humanity conditioning, your collective conditioning, the way you were brought up, it perceives that into a frequency, and then the mind administers that frequency into the body. So two people can be in the exact same place. One person is perceiving it as this is amazing, beautiful. The amazing is perceiving it as no, this is not great. So perception is a frequency filter which the mind administers. So the more perspectives I can consider at once, the closer I am to the truth, if you want to say. But in order to do this, we must learn how to truly listen. But in order to truly listen with an open mind, one must unlearn everything they were taught, their conditioning, their programming, so that when someone is speaking without their bias or conditioning, they can literally learn how to listen with their DNA. As there's no bias, no conditioning, the frequency goes into the mind administers that, and they're listening with their DNA. Does it resonate? Does it not resonate? Not to agree, not to disagree, but to truly listen to the sound. And here's a secret. Light can bend and refract, and there's holograms right now you think are real people existing as holograms. Light can bend and refract and lie, but one thing that cannot lie is sound. If you listen to the energy behind, listen, you will find the person's intention. And when you truly learn how to listen, that will be one skill that really serves you for the rest of your life. Listen with your DNA, not to agree, not to disagree, but to really listen. Am I resonating? And if you do resonate, get curious, go into it. What is this person talking about? Because that will lead you to your truth, and the truth will set you free. If you don't resonate, that's okay. And we're coming to a day and age where this is going to be even more and more important. When someone of perceived authority is speaking on the TV, when you're truly listening with your DNA, the energy behind the sound, remember, light can refract and bend and lie. What does my DNA really resonate? If it doesn't resonate, listen to yourself. Learn how to trust yourself. And the more you do that, I don't resonate, and this is my reason why. Speak your truth and walk away and go towards what does resonate, because that will lead you towards your truth, which will lead you to freedom. So consciousness, all that is, this is what Jesus called the Father. Consciousness, all that is, creates the mind in order to perceive. The mind is the interpreter and administrator of frequency from the perception of an individual. So the individual mind is made from consciousness that manifests as electromagnetic microparticles. These microparticles of the mind have access to multi-dimensional bands of frequency and manifest form and identity. So the Blue Brain Project in Switzerland has just been studying brains for many, many, many years. And what they have found is in the brain, there is a potential not only for 4 to 6 dimensional frequencies, information, but all the way up into 11th dimension. And the more that they study, they're going to find that actually it's not only 11th. Some people have the ability to perceive and to experience not 12th dimension, but also 24th dimension and 48th dimension. And these are some of the indigo children that were born, Magi Grail lines, if you want to call them. So think about this. Most human beings are walking around using only their third dimensional reasoning mind, when they actually have potential for at least 12th dimensional mind. Imagine if humanity could bring their multi-dimensional potential online, right? This is really important, especially for a time like today. So, and you also come to understand that most Western scientists have never experienced their multi-dimensional self. So all of science, all of the textbooks, all of what our children are being taught, all of, if you want to call it, what's being published, all of what the FDA is basing the rules and regulations on that most of all society follows is based on a limited third dimensional scientific model. That's why science has absolutely no cure for anything right now. It's a sick model because it's only focusing on what it can see, physics. And physics is important, but it's actually metaphysics. What you do not see, frequency, is the world of cause. Physics is effect. But if you only focus on band-aiding symptoms, the 3D, right? Imagine there's a photograph, right? And so cancer is the photograph, if you want to call it, the symptom, right? And all these chemotherapy and all these things are trying to destroy, if you want to call it, the cells, what you see. And, you know, it can help, but actually in the invisible world is the cause, the negative of the photograph, the invisible world, frequency. And so if you're not destroying that, then you can destroy the symptoms, but the cancer will come back. You'll go back into remission. And that's why these scientists, it's very important now for people, especially the scientists, to start experiencing their multidimensional mind so that they can create from a higher level. Because as you start going and accessing your multidimensional mind, every bandwidth of frequency or dimension is a bandwidth of frequency. And you access these things. And that's what Tesla and Einstein accessed. 3, 6, 9th dimension. The secrets of the universe are actually 3, 6, 9, 12. And we're going to go into why that is in this actual ceremony. And as you ascend and you start accessing these higher levels of frequency, your multidimensional mind, there is a frequency where disease doesn't exist. Right? And so if you can create technology from that place, this is why Tesla and Einstein said the future of medicine is frequency, then the future is now. Then you can start working with scalar waves, scalar technology, sound, light, which then can start coming into the physical, the effect, and obliterating, if you want to say, the dis-ease, because higher oscillation entrains lower vibration. So it's a really a beautiful, amazing time because we're now being, this wisdom is opening up and we're starting to realize we are multidimensional. And for every dis-ease, there is the technology is already here. So, in this 15-dimensional time matrix, there are 15 levels of mind. One level of mind corresponding to each dimension. The 15 dimensions, this universe is a 15-dimensional time matrix, is grouped into triads of 3 dimensions. So 3 dimensions equal one harmonic universe. They're groups in 3. That's why Tesla said 3, 6, 9. But he also understood 12, but that's what information that has been hidden. 3, 6, 9, 12, the secrets of the universe. So there's 5 harmonic universes, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And remember, Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency. 3, 6, 9, 12. And, it's funny because I grew up, reading the Bible. And when God made man in his image, okay, it's not an old man in the sky that you're separate from that is watching you, that punishes you. That's not it. When God made man in his image, it was a mathematical formulation, which is base 12, which was originally intended for eternal life code. And we'll go into that some other time. So remember I said every dimension is a bandwidth of frequency. Color is a bandwidth of frequency. For example, red is root, space, right? And it's also a level of mind. So today we're going to delve into this. The D, dimension 1, 2, 3, or harmonic universe 1, is the subconscious mind, the instinctual mind, D2, or the emotional intuitive, and the reasoning mind, D3. And most of humanity is stuck on this level right now. So we're going to go into that. These 3 together is called the personal logos. Dimensions 4, 5, 6, harmonic universe 2, also known as the soul matrix. Okay, D4, dimension 4, heart chakra green, is the astral. Okay, D5, archetypal mind, dimension 5. D6, dimension 6, is the angelic mind, and D4, 5, 6 together make up the soul matrix, also known as the superconscious mind, also known as the collective logos. D7 through 9 is the oversoul matrix. It's the catheric, monadic, and geriatric mind, collectively caused the causal mind, called the planetary logos. The D10, 11, and 12 is the avatar matrix. So you think about these great avatars you talk about in India, right? Where does that word come from? Oh, D10, 11, 12. D10, the DNA strand 10, when you embody that, it's your Christic mind. The level of Christic perception comes online. D11 is the Buddha mind, right? So Buddha sat under a tree, activated his D11 strand, got access to the D11 Buddha mind. The polarity disappeared when you have level to that perception. We're all one at that level. War disappears. You come into a state of peace. You come to a state of understanding that all things are connected, right? And there's also natural abilities that start manifesting and coming online when you start embodying these levels of mind. D12 is the nirvanic mind. So D13 through 15 is the Particum, Partiki, and Partika mind, collectively called the universal mind, the cosmic mind. And the D13 to 15 represents the eternal identity. It's non-dimensionalized and free from time and space, and it exists as the one mind. All other networks in this universe exist within this crystalline latticework. So if you want to think about this, think about it spheres on spheres on spheres, minds on minds on minds, dimensions on dimensions on dimensions, circles on circles on circles, right? So imagine the one source mind, right? The one mind, when it comes into this universe, becomes the cosmic mind, right? And then becomes the universal mind, right? The planetary mind, the avatar mind, the oversoul mind, the soul mind, the superconscious mind, and down into the individual D123 mind. So it all comes, however, from the one mind. So this network represents a literally family tree of consciousness through which all humans are connected to all other life forms through the one mind of God. However, because most human beings have not experienced this and are still living in third dimension, they continue to have the illusion of separation. And when there's an illusion of separation because people are stuck in their 3D mind, this is what leads to war, the appearance of separation, the illusion of separation, which leads to a spirit of survival. In order for there to be peace on earth, more people need to access their multi-dimensional mind. Because this way, they will access a frequency where we are all interconnected and all one. When you start accessing your super conscious mind, D4, 5, 6, and above, and we'll talk about ways to do that today, you start reaching a frequency where you realize, oh, we all come from the one. We are all connected. And for those who haven't had that experience, you can. There's never been a better time in history to experience the one mind. You can. People call it going meta. And we're going to talk about different tools on how to do that. And once you know, you cannot not know. And this is why Jesus said, what you have done unto the least of me, you have done unto me. Once you experience that part of you and you understand that we are all connected, how are you going to go love your neighbor as you love yourself? How are you going to go hurt another person when you know that that person on another level is you? And so you continue to work with this superconscious mind, your soul, your oversoul, and you start coming into divine neutrality, non-duality, one human family. And when you're in this state, you hold that frequency and vibration, and wherever you go, you're holding this frequency, and wherever you go, there is peace. Blessed are the peacemakers. Because you realize and have integrated into your subconscious mind and body the frequency that we are all one, because you started to work with your superconscious mind and above. So this is how peace on earth begins. If you want to change the world, you have to change yourself. And if you want to change yourself, you have to go within. But go within where? To your intron potential DNA, to your superconscious mind, to your avatar Christos self. The greatest lie ever told to humanity is that word third dimensional. It was not the war on drugs. It was the war on consciousness. Everything that's decreases consciousness is legal. Anything that increases consciousness is made illegal, right? So it's time to take our power back, to access our multidimensional mind, find peace within, find peace without, and to end war here on earth and to create a new earth. And the first step to do that is to start awakening your multidimensional identity. Bring your superconscious dimension 4 to 6 soul online into conscious recognition within your D1 to 3rd mind, the subconscious, instinctual, and reasoning minds. Merge your superconscious dimension 4 to 6 mind with your dimension 1 to 3 mind. So today, that's what we're going to go deeper into. Let's go over these 4 components of mind, and at the end, we'll talk about different ways and techniques on how to do that. So number 1, the 4 components of your mind is the subconscious mind. A lot of people refer to this as your body consciousness or your cellular memory, right? There's a book written, The Body Keeps the Score. Well, that is your subconscious mind. The key function of your subconscious mind is data storage. It stores imprints from the various components of your mind. It stores directional impulses from the superconscious mind, the soul, and was originally designed to receive operational orders from the soul, the superconscious mind, and to store that in the body. That was the original design. But right now, the connection to the soul has been cut off. But the original design was for the soul, the superconscious mind, to send frequencies which are interpreted and then come and be stored into the body as subconscious cellular body, memory by the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind exists as minute crystalline blueprints within the cell. So imagine in the cells, there's these minute crystalline blueprints. That's the subconscious mind in the mind and body. It stores this memory in the body. So this memory is stored within the cells and the brain in these minute crystals. The subconscious mind is part of your personal identity or personality that manifests as the physical body in the form of a crystalline blueprint within the molecular structure, and it represents body consciousness. Your body is intelligent. It's the subconscious mind. Listen to it. It translates energy such as light, sound, taste, smell, the five senses, in temperature, and it stores that in your body in these minute crystals that exist in the cells. So it translates multidimensional information from other components of the mind into the illusion of 3D matter. So the subconscious mind translates thoughts, ideas, and beliefs. Read that once more. The subconscious mind translates thoughts, ideas, and beliefs into symbol codes of light, which are materialized as the body. The universe communicates in symbols. The language of our intron potential DNA scientists used to call junk is sound and light and symbols. So the subconscious mind is constantly receiving light codes, symbol codes, and it interprets that and stores those symbol codes into the body. I just watched a video of Robert Edward Grant posted on his social media of Dolores Cannon was talking that when we are born on Earth, we're all given a very unique symbol. So the minute crystals, and it's communicating with each other underneath the Earth. In the minute crystals in the cells. All the cells are communicating in a healthy body. Now, all of those symbols are becoming, which are thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, are translated into the body as these symbols and is giving off one large symbol in your auric field. Now, there's spiritual people who can actually see this auric field. And it's this auric field which is attracting to us when we get along with someone. It's because our symbol is communicating and resonating with someone else's symbol. We all have a unique symbol, a unique reflection of source. And so the input of the thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, the universe communicates in symbols, is communicating with our intron potential DNA and storing that information in the subconscious mind. So wouldn't it be important what input you're putting into your subconscious mind, into your body, right? Because that's what's becoming your body. The word becomes flesh. And so currently, 5 companies own 90% of the media. So your attention is your currency. What am I watching? What am I inputting? What is the mind administrating to the cells, which is becoming me? Right? So it's important now to shift our intention with intention to our superconscious mind and get information from there and receive the right symbols, the frequency, the light, the sound from our own higher selves. Never been more important to do that than now. So watch your thoughts. They become part of your body. The word becomes flesh. So this is really important too. You can not only, get disease from your thoughts, ideas, beliefs. If you're receiving symbol codes that are based upon fear, false evidence appearing real, only from the D3 mind and from companies that want to cause separation and disunity, and those are becoming the minute crystals in your body, and your subconscious mind is putting that out, well, guess what? The cells are going to get the message that they're separate, that they are disconnected, and they're going to start, they're not receiving information from the superconscious mind. They're receiving information from the media, which is owned by who? And they're going to get a message that they're separate. And when they think that they're separate, a cell that thinks it's separate thinks it has to rapidly divide to survive. That's where cancer comes from. So it's really important. to start connecting this. Oh, what I'm inputting into my mind is becoming part of my subconscious mind and body, my body memory, which is affecting my overall health, wealth, and everything that I do. And so if you want to find a good doctor, okay, go to a doctor. When you leave that office, you have a changed attitude. I can heal. Not only can I heal, man, he gave me the tools. She gave me the tools to utilize so that I can heal. Because those thoughts, ideas, words, and beliefs will literally become your body, your subconscious mind, which will become your reality. So you want to find a good doctor, go to someone who can change your thoughts, ideas, words, and beliefs, right? Into the truth, which is that you are limitless. But like I said, 99% of most scientists right now, or even most doctors, have never experienced their multidimensional self, the world of cause, metaphysics. So all they can do is give you linear information, symptom control, without ever getting to the root cause or the cure. So there's also this wisdom, and I have to share this because on my journey, not only was I a psychiatrist, I experienced every psychiatric condition. I had to heal myself, right? And so I went into all different types of healing modalities, breath work, sound healing, and went into Tibetan Buddhism, went into, Kundalini yoga, went into all these different modalities of healing, used to be a youth pastor, right? And so there was this wisdom that I call eternal life wisdom, sometimes referred to as quantum morphogenetic physics. If you want to ask why a chair is created, like the specific reasons and the details behind a chair, you got to ask the person who created the chair for all of the details, because only they will be able to tell you, like, okay, yeah, this is exactly why I put this hinge there. This is why I put that, right? So if you want to know how to heal, if you want to know how to activate your potential, and what is the quickest way to do that, you got to ask the creator, right? You got to go to your superconscious mind. But not only that, in this universal 15-dimensional universal time matrix, there are councils, guardian alliances, if you want to call it eternal life founders races, the Elohai, Seraphai, Brahmarama. And they've given techniques called bioregenesis, chelantic science techniques, certain symbols and sounds. Remember the language of our potential DNA. And they work with 12th dimension and above, your avatar, Christos self, and above. And they send these high frequency symbols and sounds through optical pioneering into your potential DNA. And it starts, if you want to say, realigning your potential. And it starts realigning your ego. And it starts realigning your DNA to encompass in a natural, gradual way your full potential from 12th dimension all the way down. Remember 36912, the secrets of the universe, right? So bioregenesis symbols, I created a course called Activate Your 12-Stranded DNA on the website under courses. And when I started working with these symbols and codes and techniques, what started happening in my hologram, as we're going to go into this, because remember the symbols become part of your crystalline nature within the cells, and it projects your hologram. Everything in my hologram started shifting rapidly, and it was amazing. And so, you can start working with sound, light, symbols, and techniques. And, for me, the quickest way was the bioregenesis, eternal life techniques. Okay. So in hypnosis, when people are going to hypnosis, they are accessing the subconscious mind. And remember, it's the subconscious mind is dimension one, body consciousness. It's a bandwidth of frequency represented by the physical body, dimension one, DNA strand one. Red is the color to enter. It's base chakra. Okay, so it's all intelligent because base 12, the mathematical code of the universe, the eternal life one. So the subconscious D1 mind, in summary, it translates perceptual energy and it stores that information as data within minute crystalline structures within the brain and the body. The body keeps the score where? In the subconscious mind. So it's very important now to start reprogramming your subconscious mind, your thoughts, your words, your beliefs, your attitudes. And there's two magic times in a day. Okay. The right before you're falling asleep, your brain waves, where you're half awake, half asleep, go into theta brain waves. The iPhone to your brain, the App Store to your brain is wide open. That's when you're most suggestible. So in that state, or right when you're waking up, you're half awake, half asleep, you're in theta brainwaves. The app store to your iPhone, the door to your subconscious mind reprogramming is wide open. So all of that bullshit we were programmed with from individual programming, societal programming, parental society, by the age we're 7, what happens to an iPhone, the brain, when it's running 1,000 different programs? By the time we're 35, 95% of everything we're doing is subconscious programming. It's literally the body just running on automatic based upon what it was taught. Okay. So it's important to clear space to unlearn, but also to reprogram your subconscious mind. And right when you're waking up, right when you're falling asleep, there's different things out there, such as yoga nidra. Right before you're falling asleep, it gets you into theta brainwaves. Yoga nidra for free on Spotify, on YouTube. Right, ancient yogic practice. All of these practices are now coming down right when you're about to enter into it. Puts a thought in there: I am worthy. And that, remember that thought, idea, word, it goes and it becomes the crystalline structures in your body, your subconscious mind. Theta healing is another way to do it. Theta brainwaves, right? I created a 21-day abundance meditation to drop you from alpha to theta and then start reprogramming your subconscious mind with thoughts, words, attitudes, and beliefs. And now, as Frankel said, they can try to take everything away, you know, from humanity, but the last thing they can take away from you is your attitude, your subconscious mind. You have the power to be and program your subconscious mind to whatever it is you want. You are free, you are free, you are free. So the second level of mind we're going to go into is called the instinctual mind, also referred to as the emotional intuitive mind. And this represents D2, dimension 2, DNA strand 2, the emotional intuitive mind. So the key function of the emotional intuitive mind is data relay. So to relay directional electrical impulses and information from the soul superconscious mind was the original design into cellular memory storage into the subconscious mind within the body. So the soul sends information. The D2 emotional intuitive mind relays that information, which is then stored in the body, the subconscious mind. It exists as minute crystalline blueprint within and surrounding the body. So imagine there's these networks of the emotional intuitive mind as crystalline, minute crystallines in and within the body. And it's relaying data from the soul as the original design was. So emotion and intuition represents translations of information from the soul, then relayed to the subconscious mind, instinctual mind. And that's where the term comes, trust your instincts. There's literally information being relayed from your emotional intuitive self. And originally, it was supposed to be coming from the soul. Unfortunately, there has been many purposefully orchestrated DNA distortions within the emotional, intuitive, instinctual mind and memory of humanity. So there's been purposeful things, memory wipes, and interference with the emotional, intuitive mind in humanity. So the soul superconscious mind, when that information is coming in and it's supposed to be relayed, it's being jumbled within the cellular memory. And it appears fragmented. The messages are not fragmented. And that's why so many people right now are not able to truly express. Authentic expression is the resurrection, or to truly trust themselves, because the data, the frequency, the information has purposely been scrambled by forces. So this is also what caused repression and suppression of emotions and intuition. And this is what leads to, if you want to call it, physical, emotional, psychological memory distortions and diseases within the identity. You see, Chinese medicine used to say that, it's actually stuck energy, which is the cause of disease. So imagine your whole soul oversoul is trying to send information. The brain administers that information, and it's being relayed through the body through this network. And then there's this distortion, fragmented energy, which gets stuck in the body. Like literally imagine these freeways of energy stuck, clogged First of all, you're not going to be able to trust your emotion or intuition, so you're going to become a sheep. You're going to be able to be blindly led when you're not connected to your emotion or intuitions, right? Number two is you're going to have the illusion of separation. You're going to be in survival mode. Number three is this energy is going to get stuck in the body and literally cause disease. So authentic expression is the resurrection. Are you starting to see why it's so important to restore these energy flows, to restore the flow of energy of the emotions and intuition, the D2 body, and to also reestablish a connection to the superconscious mind, as was the original intention of Source? And I want to like, once this is online, I think it's really important to emphasize here, you know, intuition, your gut instinct, your intuitive knowing, your direct cellular knowing. As that information flows, as you reestablish that connection with your soul, as it flows in, you can feel that energy flowing in your body. It's an intuitive knowing, okay, I do resonate with that. And then also you can start getting these direct messages, not a voice, a messages from your soul. Quit that job today. What? That's not my mind. It's my intuition. I feel that energy flowing through those minute crystallines within my body. And if you learn how to do that, you can never go wrong in life. If you learn how to flow with your intuition, you can never go wrong in life. But it won't make sense to the world, in this world, but not of this world. But it knows before it happens. Remember, the D5-6 superconscious mind has access to information beyond space or time. So it's looking at future potentials of what could happen. Sam, if you quit your job today, you're going to go on a path which is aligned to your highest evolutionary potential according to your soul. And it might not make sense to your rational mind, but we're going to send this message in 2 weeks before you're about to become a partner at LA's biggest hospital firm. And if you've learned how to trust your intuition, the energy flowing through, and you follow that, it will never lead you astray. And actually, in India, they teach little children how to listen to their intuition. In our schools today, they're not even mentioning what intuition is, the sixth sense. But if you learn how to listen to it, reestablish a relationship, learn how to trust that energy when it's flowing in, and you follow that, you can never go wrong, because it's giving you information from the superconscious mind, the soul, which has access to information beyond space or time. It knows before it happens. So it's really important to reestablish that trust and flow of your intuitive knowing, especially for what's to come here in the next 5 to 10 years. Because if you start learning how to trust that, you're getting your information from your soul, not from external sources. It has information before it happens. It only has in mind your highest evolutionary potential. So your instinctual mind is primarily associated with frequency bands D2. Remember, every dimension is a band with a frequency. Emotional intuitive awareness, DNA strand 2, dimension 2, sacral chakra, color orange, or your emotional body. So as summary, the instinctual or intuitive emotional mind, it takes information from the superconscious mind. It relays this information via the emotions and intuition through these minute crystals network of communication in the body to the body, and stores it in the body in the subconscious mind. And so in a way, since that time, 7 years ago when I quit my job, my whole life's work has been to continue to listen to my intuition. Is that my mind? That's noisy, that's messy, it's a record of the past. It's not my intuition. Okay. And you can't solve a problem from where it was created, from the mind. You have to go to connect with your soul. And as that frequency flows through, your mind administers it as it's flowing through the body. What is my body? What does my intuitive emotional self know to be true? It's a quiet, direct cellular knowing. Follow that. And you will begin to go on your hero's journey. And you will realize you have deep purpose. And the world and the multidimensional self will open up, and life will become like the greatest, most epic love story ever written. Okay, so which leads us to our D3 mind, called the reasoning mind, or the logical, rational mind. The key function of the D3 mind, the logical, rational mind, is data, information assimilation, translation, and manifestation. So this part of our mind, the reasoning mind, it takes information as an electrical impulse from other components of the mind. It translates this information or impulse into patterns that the personality can recognize and assist in the holographic projection manifestation of electrotonal crystal codes from the cellular memory into externally perceivable reality. So it takes the information, it translates it, then it projects these symbol codes stored in the body into our hologram. That's how our hologram is created through the D3 mind, which translates information, then projects it so that we can experience, if you want to say, the illusion of separation on this D3 plane, right? It's taking the information, like literally the crystal codes within the cells, it's projecting that out into our hologram. So the purpose is of the D3 mind is to allow the person to observe and experience the illusion of matter density and interact with space, time, and form. It helps create the illusion of time, space, and separation. So remember, Source wanted to experience it. It all started when Source had the desire or the question, who am I? Right? Who am I? And it wanted to experience itself in many different forms, right? To expand the knowledge of the one. Who am I? And so it had this desire. And then remember, from the source mind, the one mind became the universal mind, the cosmic mind, the universal mind, the planetary mind, the oversoul mind, the soul mind, and then the individual mind. And this is how the individual mind fulfills the intention of source to experience itself in many forms by projecting the hologram. What is the reasoning mind is made from source particles and minute crystalline blueprint within and surrounding the body. It assists the soul or the superconscious mind in manifestation. The reasoning mind was originally designed to be a servant of the soul. And I want to reiterate this. The soul is the superconscious mind, dimension 4, 5, 6, right? So original design was for the soul to come online and to send frequencies and information, and then for the D3 reasoning mind to translate that information into the emotional intuitive awareness of the D2 emotional mind, and then for that to be stored in the D1 subconscious mind in the cells, and that to be projected out into the hologram, right? So it was originally designed to be taking orders from the soul, and that's where we have to go again if we want to restore our eternal and the separation of illusion, and to start living from the soul to create peace on earth, to find peace within, and then to find peace without, because it's all coming from there. We have to restore that connection to the superconscious mind, and we'll talk about at the end some ways on how to do that. So part of the reasoning mind exists within structures of body consciousness, the gut brain, and work co-creatively with the subconscious mind. Others parts exist within the D2 instinctual mind and D4 to 6 superconscious mind of the soul matrix. All the minds are connected and working together. The mind is multi-dimensional, originally supposed to be all connected, synergizing, working together. It communicates with other aspects of the mind to produce a cohesive reality or picture hologram. So remember, so the D3 mind, it's connected and receiving information from the D4, 5, 6 mind. Then it's connected and communicating with the D2 mind. So originally the emotions, the subconscious, the emotional intuitive, the D3 reasoning mind, and logical mind were all supposed to be connected to the soul mind and working and synergizing together. The ego conscious personality is part of the reasoning mind. So the ego, which a lot of people are talking about, is part of the D3 reasoning mind and is primarily found within the frequency bands of third dimension, which looks upon the illusion of matter, space, time. So if you want to transcend the ego, okay, and not transcend, integrate is the right word, you have to go to the soul, higher self, so you can observe the ego. Imagine there's two birds. If you're operating primarily just from the D3 mind, which a lot of humanity is, only what you can see, right? Only what's logical, right? All of science is based on this. Well, guess what? Only from that place, that's the D3 ego is the main part of that mind. The ego, it thinks it's separate. It thinks it needs to protect itself. It's operating from lack. Lack creates more lack, right? And so if the ego has not connected with the D456 superconscious mind, it's going to believe in the illusion of separation, competition, which leads to war, which leads to racism, which leads to science that doesn't have a cure, which leads to separation, the illusion of separation. And so, for the majority, for the last 26,000 years, a lot of humanity was living off this mind. We're coming from a very dark ages where very few people were able to connect to the superconscious mind, which has led us to the condition we're in today. So now more than ever, the truth needs to be known because the truth will set us free. We have a multi-dimensional mind. Not only that, okay, once you start accessing that, you'll start realizing when you start sending frequencies from the soul, the superconscious mind, it naturally starts communicating with what people call the ego. People don't understand the ego. It's the epigenetic overlay. Epigenetic. It communicates with the genes, the DNA, a chemical sheath surrounding the DNA. It's what makes us a unique oscillatory vibratory reflection of source. And when you start sending frequencies from the superconscious mind, it starts naturally integrating, consecrating the ego, the epigenetic overlay. And it's like there's been distortions and mutations of it, but it starts reintegrating it into the soul so that it becomes a part of the mission, so that you're not necessarily trying to kill the ego, you're trying to integrate and consecrate it. But the way to do that is you have to send frequencies from the higher levels to integrate and you want to say reintegrate it, because the ego in society, the DNA of human beings has been messed with. There's been a whole history of it. So you have to, and so in bioregenesis, in the course I created online, it sends frequencies from 12 down, 12th dimension down at least, and it starts reintegrating the ego, so the ego becomes part of the mission, so that when your soul says, hey, I need you to go up there and give this talk in front of this group of people, and I need you to do it proudly as your individual self, it's a part of the mission. So it goes up there and it delivers that message powerfully because it's been integrated, consecrated into that deep purpose. It becomes a servant of the soul, part of the mission, not separate from the mission. So don't kill the ego, integrate and consecrate it through interweaving it, integrating it with the higher soul mind. So it's important, like during sleep, the consciousness can disassociate from the ego. So a lot of people, when they sleep, their consciousness, right? Remember, it's not the mind. It's all that is. It leaves the body sometimes, and it can travel, right? And so for most people, it's traveling to the astral world, probably the lower astral world, where there's a lot of confusion, disembodied energies and things like that. But once you start working and opening up your upper stranded DNA, imagine there's a ladder of frequency, your consciousness can start going and receive from the superconscious mind soul codes while you're sleeping, right? And recency intention before you go to sleep matters. Intention that I want to receive soul code. I want to go to my higher self. I want to go to my superconscious mind. And then when it comes back into the body, when you wake up, remember that half awake, half asleep state, you can start re-impaving the neural pathways of what happened. And if you want to, if it's a message from your soul, and re-entraining that neural pathway, so you can literally start embodying your soul while you sleep and reprogramming your subconscious mind. Okay. When fully integrated, the reasoning mind will have conscious, multi-dimensional perception. You start seeing a pattern of divine design energy flow from D456 superconscious mind down to D3 reasoning mind, down to the D2 emotional intuitive mind, and being stored in the D1 mind as was originally intended. So the reasoning mind, or the rational logical mind, is associated with frequency band dimension 3, logical rational awareness, DNA strand 3, the third solar plexus represented by the color yellow, and the mental body. The D3 reasoning mind, which includes the ego, takes information from all components of the mind in summary, and it projects it into the hologram. Okay, now the good part here. We go to the superconscious mind, the group soul matrix. And remember, they come in groups of three, harmonic universe. 3 dimensions is one harmonic universe. Dimension 1, 2, 3. This is dimension 4, 5, 6. The second harmonic universe, also called the superconscious mind. The key function of the superconscious mind is creation of experiential morphogenetic fields, divine blueprints, and individual identities within the D1 to 3 harmonic universe 1. So when a soul incarnates, it comes in groups of 12. From the one superconscious mind comes 12 individual D1, 2, 3 minds. 12 physical bodies which exist in different space-time locations within harmonic universe 1, D1 to 3. So when your consciousness, our consciousness came through, it came through a soul matrix, which then split by electromagnetic fission into 12 separate bodies in different space-time locations. Okay? Base 12, the eternal life code. 12 apostles, right? Start thinking about it. Oh, okay. Okay. And so the function of the superconscious mind is literally that, right? So to create the morphogenetic fields which matter can, remember the divine blueprint, which matter can come on and split into 12 different parts of itself to experience itself in 12 different ways with 12 minds, 12 physical bodies. So the superconscious mind is made of source particles and clusters of crystals, remember called chelons or scallions, and it exists as minute crystalline blueprint within and surrounding the body. So it's what forms the morphogenetic blueprint, which matter can then, materialize on. This part is important. The soul holds the information for the life purpose. You have deep purpose. You did not come here on accident. And the superconscious mind, it stores and knows the information of why you came. Your sacred why, your soul purpose is stored within the superconscious dimension 4 through 6 mind. So in the ceremonies I facilitate called the heart protocol, remember D4 to 6 is a bandwidth of frequency. We're quieting the mind, opening the heart into the dimension 4, 5, 6 or higher DNA strands. And then we're quieting the ego. And in that space, you can connect to your soul frequencies and beyond, your dimension 4, 5, 6. And you can record it too. And so that's why a lot of people they'll tell themselves, like, oh, this is why I came. In fact, one brother, there's no time or space when you reach a certain frequency dimension, was able to go back in time. There's no time, only consciousness moving through different densities, and actually see and relive the moment where he actually chose to come to Earth. The soul knows. So it's really important, right? Because in psychiatry, as a psychiatrist, I saw people don't have this connection, so they don't know their purpose. And because they don't know their purpose, they're like sheep, they're lost. They're just flowing with the collective consciousness. Once you know your purpose, you have a reason for waking up. You have a reason for being alive, right? You have a direction to put your energy into your purpose. It's very important, right? So what I'm saying is your D4, 5, 6 mind, your superconscious mind, it knows why you're here, right? And in the heart protocol is one modality on how to access that information if you're ready to receive it. Your soul will tell you when you're ready to receive it. And so I want to go into this because here comes out my, I was brought up in the church as a pastor's son. And so all of these verses are starting to make sense to me again. John chapter 15, verse 5. I am the vine, one soul stream. You are the branches, 12 branches. If you remain in me, if you're going to the superconscious mind, the vine, and I in you, you will bear much fruit. If you're in the soul frequencies or higher, you will bear much fruit because from there, your purpose, your intention, your motivation, deep purpose starts flowing in through the one stream into your individual identity on different timelines. And you start receiving from there your purpose, your intention, your motivation, right? And you start living in your purpose, you will bear much fruit. And the fruit of the Spirit, joy, peace, gentleness, self-control, right? these things will start manifesting into your hologram because you are connected to the divine. Every single morning, as Jesus did when he went to the mountain to pray, he was going to connect with what he called the Father, the higher self, the avatar Cristo self, and receive these frequencies, thoughts, words, and beliefs, are transferred through the logical mind into the emotional intuitive mind. And he had cleared these channels, which became part of his subconscious mind, crystals within the body, which he was projecting into his hologram. And because he had spent enough time there, he had embodied that frequency where disease doesn't exist. And therefore, everywhere he went, there were miracles. It's a natural result bearing fruit. When you continue to embody your soul and oversoul, you start embodying into your body a level of frequency. There is a frequency where disease doesn't exist. Therefore, Jesus said, there is a perfect love that casts out all fear. There is a frequency where fear doesn't exist. And if you spend time connecting to that, embodying that, your body will get that message, and your hologram will also, not only in the physical, but in the quantum world, start projecting that hologram into your reality. Therefore, when someone comes into your field, right, your hologram, your symbol, your sacred symbol will be communicating with them on an unseen level, frequency, the secrets of the universe. So the superconscious mind of the soul matrix replicates itself, right? One soul becomes through electromagnetic fission. That's how it does it. Electromagnetic fission. The energy of the vine becomes 12 branches through electromagnetic fission, then fragments a replica of its consciousness, the same consciousness, into sets of 12 individuated identities, which are simultaneously placed within space-time fields of harmonic universe 1. Thus the word soul family, 1 becomes 12 on different timelines, right? And so think about this. There is, from the same consciousness soul stream as you, on a different timeline, or maybe even in this timeline, maybe you guys have met some of these people. In your soul family is a different version of the same consciousness experiencing in a different body, right? Right? You. It's you, though, on a higher level. And so, for example, when I did my first, one of my first heart protocol journeys, I was shown another version of myself existing right now in Tibet as an ancient Tibetan Buddhist monk. Funny thing is, before I even saw that, I already knew that. Like there's sessions in Bali where someone tell me, you used to be an ancient monk. You're a monk. Why are you wearing that LA hat backwards? You're an ancient monk, right? And so people can access this information beyond space or time, right? And so imagine there's a version of you. If you watch the movie Sense8 on Netflix, there's a version of you existing as a martial arts expert in Japan. So when you can connect to this soul matrix part of you, remember, when you can connect to that one vine, you'll bear much fruit because you can get information from that aspect of yourself. You can get information, right, from all 12 of your probable selves and beyond that, right? So that's why Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. 1 becomes 12. And the concept of disciples and apostles stems back it was distorted to the patriarchy, right? Calling God a him in the sky. God is a he. No, he's not. Remember I just said, God, it's a base 12 mathematical formulation, right? So there's been a distortion of this information, and it's not apostles, right? Because if you look at the kind of the pyramid scheme, all right, we're following, and in the dark ages, that's what people were following, is the pyramid scheme, where there's a top of the pyramid, right? And they tell off planet, and they tell the on planet little minions who control 90% of the media a little less information, right? And so every step down the triangle knows less and less and less and less and less, and is like literally at the bottom of the triangle. They don't even know they're sheep. They're disconnected from their soul, and they're literally just following, wandering around, and they don't even know their information. The funny thing is, in this pyramid scheme, the top of the triangle doesn't even care about their children, if you want to call it, the bottom of the pyramid, right? And that's called hierarchy. And this concept of disciples, apostles, like guru, all this stuff, it's falling apart now because we're starting to realize the truth that we are a holarchy, a circle. Everybody's equal. 1 becomes 12. Not one's better than the other. Everyone has different roles, right? But equal value. And that is the sacred law of 1. We are all source. The only law I follow. The sacred law of 1. We are all source, exist as source. And because we exist as source, we are worthy. All connected. So when you start connecting with your soul superconscious mind, you can connect with all other 12 aspects of yourself on different timelines. And this is important because the same way we came down, 1 becomes 12. If you're A lot of people say ascension is not possible. Like if you're looking at that, the same way down is the same way up, right? You got to communicate with those parts of you. And I want to emphasize this: your superconscious mind, your soul, D456, it only has in mind your highest evolutionary potential. It only has in your mind your highest evolutionary potential, not your comfort. There's a lot of people out there right now who are so worried about comfort. 72 degrees, 9 to 5, save for retirement. I just want to be comfortable. Okay? Maybe the path of connecting with your soul, your superconscious mind, that might not be for you, because when you're comfortable, you never grow. Your higher self has in mind your highest evolutionary potential, your growth. In order to grow, it might put you into situations where you're a little uncomfortable, because that's where growth happens, push you to your edge, might allow you to go through certain experiences like major depression, 4 times severe PTSD, because it understands, right, that that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to detach from the D3 systems that no longer serve you, into a higher frequency way of living, thinking, believing, attitudes, right? So, and he who is forgiven much can love much. She who has been to the darkest of the darks can appreciate the light all the more. So your soul, once you start working with your superconscious mind, is going to lead you on a path for your highest evolutionary potential. And when you're doing that, you can ask yourself, not why is this happening to me, but why is this happening for me? You start realizing everything that you're going through is happening for you, for your highest evolutionary potential. Everything. I mean, at this point, I can get into a car accident. And, I understand 1 week later, because I've been working with my soul, doing my practice, working with my superconscious mind, how is this working for me? Because I know, not through blind faith, but because through experience, every single time when I look back and I'm working with my soul, it's leading me on my highest evolutionary potential. How is this working for me? And life becomes fun at that time, because you're constantly, continuously evolving. So the soul superconscious mind, it stores the memory of each life stream's purpose, as well as the memory of the greater purpose of the entire soul family. So not only do you have deep individual purpose, the soul family, when it incarnates, has individual missions, but also a greater synergy of your soul purpose or mission. So the group of 12, which is the same consciousness, the vine, not only do you have an individual mission, you have a soul mission. It came for a soul reason, a group mission as well. And once you start accessing and working with your superconscious mind, you'll start seeing, oh, I have an individual mission, which is part of a greater mission. Oh, the inner Christos reclamation project. Oh, okay, I get it. You are who you've been looking for. Take a look inside and you will find you are who you've been looking for. So here's the thing. Each individual life stream has free will choice. Greatest gift ever given to humanity. To override the impulses sent to it by the soul. But the greatest fulfillment of the incarnate comes from the following directives of the superconscious mind, as it imbues the individual identity with purpose, intention, motivation, and literal life force energy that sustains the physical body. So imagine the soul stream, the vine, is sending each individual purpose, intention, motivation, literal life force energy, which becomes your body, right? The soul wants to embody. But each individual identity has the free will choice as that information is coming in to say, to ignore, to repress, to suppress, or to cut off that information and say, nope, I want to continue to live in separation. I want to continue to live by the ego, right? You have a choice. So when that soul comes, that's what Jesus said, he who has ears, hear. When your soul is sending you frequencies through motivation, okay, through purpose, through intention, literally life force energy, listen, allow that frequency to permeate into the mind, into the emotional, intuitive mind, to circulate and to become part of your hologram, because it has your greatest fulfillment in mind when we're in alignment with the soul. And what do I even call success these days? For success for me these days is when my physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual body is all aligned. I'm on my purpose. I'm in my purpose. I'm in my highest, greatest evolutionary path. I know my purpose. I'm aligned. That avenue, that channel from the vine to the branches is clear. I'm bearing fruit, right? So when you begin to embody your soul by spending time with your superconscious mind consistently, develop a daily practice. Jesus went to the mountains. Buddha sat under a tree where he was literally receiving information from the superconscious mind. You will begin to integrate all levels of the mind and awaken to your multidimensional perception that is all simultaneously existing in various dimensions in different space time locations. And if you've never experienced this, you can. Shameless plug here. We have retreats every month. I travel the world facilitating the heart protocol. It's a safe, consistent, powerful container to plug in to your superconscious mind and higher, and to experience it. Not only to experience it, to feel it. And once you know, you cannot not know. Okay? Yes, you have a soul. And it's a great gift to be able to connect to that. Because once you connect with your soul, from that higher level of perception, you can see your family, yourself, your problems from a higher level of perception. And the problems don't even they like disappear. It's like non-existent. It's only when you're stuck in your D3 mind. Also, healing frequencies flow in from there. Purpose flows in from there. Motivation flows in from there. Peace flows in from there, right? So whatever your practice is, meditation, whatever it is, find a way to connect with your superconscious mind. Okay. And it's important to know the superconscious mind connects to the oversoul. Remember, it's all connected, right? So the D1 through 3 is connected to the D4, 5, 6, and the superconscious mind plugs into the oversoul. There are even higher levels of mind, which we'll get into some other time. So the superconscious mind, it holds the memory of who you were before this body. It knows why you as consciousness chose this particular incarnation. So once you understand this, you connect with your superconscious mind, you can step out of victim mode. Okay. That's when life begins. Because you chose. And when you connect with your superconscious mind, remember I said there was a brother who remembered in his ceremony, beyond time or space, the moment he chose to be born. When you realize you chose to be born as a human, you chose your mother's womb, you chose a specific mission. You chose a specific set of circumstances. Every thought, word, belief, and attitude that you chose has led you to this hologram that you're currently living in. You have no choice but to step out of victim. You cannot point your finger at somebody else. When you're pointing your finger, when you're in victim mode, pointing your finger, it's because of this, it's because of my mom, it's because of this happened in my life, because you're powerless. As soon as you realize I chose the greatest gift ever given to humanity, I chose every choice that I made have led me intelligently to this point. And Jesus said, the consciousness, all that is, knows even the numbers of hairs on your head. That's how intelligent consciousness, and it honors free will choice, which means you chose to be born on earth for this time, for this current period. You chose your family. You chose your certain set of circumstances. You chose to allow yourself to go through certain traumas. And when you accept that, and your soul can help you do that because it'll show you beyond space or time that you did. You step into your power. You become an owner, extreme ownership of your hologram. Shout out Jocko. And that's when life begins, because you start taking control and you start ownership of your thoughts, words, beliefs, attitudes, and you start manifesting and materializing a new hologram. And you start connecting with your limitless potential and start creating from your deep purpose, because you have deep purpose. So, and you start remembering then that you're never alone. Remember, the soul is connected to 12, but the oversoul is connected to 12 times 12, 144. And then the oversoul is connected to the avatar, 12 times 12 times 12, 1728 simultaneous identical versions of yourself. And you start realizing that, when I chose to be born, I was chose to be born, I was connected to the animals, to the plants, from the plants to the air. And all of these elements connect us all. We breathe the same air, live on the same mother. And if you're lucky, you can have an experience where you experience this with such power and force that you will know that you are never alone. And loneliness is the greatest epidemic on this planet. And the answer is within. Go within, but go within where? Connect with your superconscious mind. So the superconscious mind of the soul is contained within the D4 astral, D5 archetypal, and D6 angelic mind. So if you want to see an angel, We're coming to an age where you start realizing, I don't need no intermediary. I don't need no angel to send a message. No, I have a direct connection with source. If you want to see an angel, embody your 6th DNA strand, your angelic mind, watch and look in the mirror. Okay, you are who you've been looking for. So your superconscious mind is associated with frequency bands D4 through 6, harmonic universe 2, the astral, archetypal, and angelic awareness. So, for example, when you're embodying your Arthur or Merlin archetype, your magician, you're working with your D5 DNA strand, archetypal mind, frequency band. DNA strands 4, 5, 6, and chakras 4, 5, 6. And so now more than ever, it's super important to have a technique, a tool that you utilize to connect with your superconscious mind. Whether it's in, you set an intention in meditation. Intention is a magnetic frequency, right? A magnetic frequency that exists between matter, and your superconscious mind can feel that. I want to connect with my superconscious mind. In fact, right now, if you want to start working with your superconscious mind, just say that. You choose when to wake up. I want to connect with my soul, my superconscious mind. I'm going to hold that intention. Then when you go into meditation or breath work or, all these different modalities right now, the heart protocol, whatever it is, then your soul, your superconscious mind will send frequencies. And once you know, you cannot not know. And this has never been more important than now, because there's the illusion of separation, war, and more stuff to come. And you have to be connected directly to your superconscious mind to see through the illusion, to have an integrated ego, to know that we are all connected and all one, to be in your soul purpose. And your soul at the right time, at the right place, if you're connected with it, it will say, okay, it's time. Like it told me 7 years ago, quit your job. It sees beyond space or time. It's time. Move to this location. Shit's about to go down. Right? So remember, it's really important, especially now, that you develop some type of connection with your superconscious mind. And the tools, never been a greater time to be alive. There's so many tools out there, right? Chanting, kundalini, whatever. Like, find the one your soul will tell you what you resonate with. So I want to conclude. The greatest lie ever told to humanity is that we are third-dimensional beings. We are multi-dimensional beings. You have a soul, a superconscious mind, an oversoul, DNA strands 1 through 12. And there's never been a better time, a more important time, to start connecting with this part of you on a consistent basis. Remember, as you start doing this, right? So there's a lot of war going on. There's a lot of, and it's going to get worse. Mother Earth, she given birth, but first she has to purge those if you want to call it, who are at the top of the triangle, who put us through the dark ages, who scrambled our DNA. They're desperate because they understand we're in a new 26,000 year cycle. Some call it the age of Aquarius, the golden age, where the frequency of Mother Earth is increasing. In higher frequency, the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of Mother Earth, as it increases. Okay, what does higher frequency do? The light exposes darkness. People's higher selves are going to come online, and they're going to have a choice. And higher oscillation, love always wins, entrains lower vibration. So they know their time is limited, and because they've cut themselves off from the source of all energy through free will choice. If you're cut off from the source of all energy, right? Okay, and they're operating by a old model of domination, triangle, hierarchy, the illusion of separation, fear, because they need to suck energy and steal and vampire energy from humanity. Energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? And if they can make people believe that there's false evidence separation, they can cause division and war. But all of that war and energy and blood and stuff is being channeled into feeding them because they need energy and food, right? So there's this great controversy, final end conflict drama that is occurring now. So it's never been more important than ever to start shifting our attention onto solutions, to shifting, because where energy goes, attention goes, energy flows, and it grows. So we want to start shifting our attention to the solution. What is the solution, right? And the solution is found in your intron potential DNA. And having a daily practice where you're connecting to your superconscious mind, because from there, the frequency will start integrating your D3 ego right into the mission. It'll start giving you a purpose, and more people will start embodying their soul, a higher frequency. The illusion of separation disappears. They start finding divine neutrality, one human family. They start operating on their missions to provide clean water, their mission, the solution, to start doing eternal life grid work on certain areas of land, to start spreading and podcasting through podcasting, to start whatever their divine mission is, and then the frequency of Mother Earth together collaboratively starts focusing on the solution, on their purpose, living on purpose with purpose, right? And the more of us start connecting with our superconscious mind and higher, we start embodying this frequency, and then the frequency, we're connected to the core of Mother Earth. The core frequency of Mother Earth starts going up even more, right? And then the ley lines, the brain of Mother Earth, it carries the electromagnetic frequency, starts increasing, and the brain of Mother Earth starts carrying this increased frequency and reversing the genetic distortions that have taken place on Mother Earth, and more people start waking up, and eventually we reach a tipping point, because when there's enough people on Earth that are embodying the frequency of unity, of love, embodying their souls, then the collective, remember, the collective mind goes up to 4.5, and there's a massive timeline shift into what New Agers are calling 5D Earth. Or if that doesn't happen, when your DNA strand gets online, right, then you're going to have access to information. Go here at this time. Start living in conscious community, right? Start producing your own food, becoming self-sustainable. Because, every most epic love story, The Return of Souls, at least 1 billion back to source, has, if you want to call it, a final end conflict drama. The last scene of Avatar, they're going for right? So there's going to be more and more, if you want to call it, disturbances. Mother Earth, she giving birth, but first she has to purge. Earthquakes, land masses disappearing, wars and rumors of wars, right? It's all been prophesied. We are the ones who've been looking for. The prophecies are being created and fulfilled at the same time. So more and more and more, the answer becomes go within. Have a daily practice, right? And for those who are searching, I created a 12-strand DNA. It's the most quickest way I found. A set of 16 pre-recorded videos and 12 eternal life techniques that work with eternal life, language, anuhazi, sound, light, and symbols, right? So if that resonates with you, cool. But like, everybody's at a different level of soul development. So, there's also the heart protocol, safe, consistent. We have retreats every month. Or, if you have your own way through meditation, through breath work, through nature, through whatever is your tool, have a consistent daily practice, to be embodying and working with your superconscious mind. That will naturally integrate your ego. You'll get in tune with your emotional awareness. It'll put those DNA mutations and restructure them back into success and physical, emotional, mental, spiritual alignment, so you can start living in your deep purpose and be prepared for what is to come. The most epic love story ever written. And this is all leading to, if you want to call it, a new earth, so that our children can grow up with systems that are based on transparency, respect, unity, and where authentic connection and love is the true currency. Decentralized currency, decentralized finance, decentralized spirituality, decentralized wealth, where you are who you've been looking for, and you have free will choice, and we're not being manipulated or controlled by DNA distortions or off-planet media manipulation, because you know who you are. You know what your purpose is. You have a direct connection to your higher self, which has information beyond space or time. And we are all one. And so if you want to start doing this, I want to leave you with a few practical tools, okay? So before you go to sleep, recency and intention matters. Remember, intention is a magnetic frequency that exists between matter. And when you go to sleep, your consciousness is leaving your body and traveling. Well, it's still in your body, but it's also traveling into dimensions. So before you go to sleep, make the intention, I would like to bring back soul codes to communicate with my superconscious mind for my highest evolutionary potential. And before you go to sleep, you can see on top, surround yourself with a white bubble of light. Every color is a bandwidth of frequency into a dimension. White, for me, represents 12th dimension. So you have a 12th dimensional bubble of light around you. Fill your room in in an orb of light, right? And then you imagine and visualize a blue plate. A blue is entry into the 5th dimension, right? 5th dimension is blue, the bandwidth of frequency. And you see a little version of yourself, a little mini-me version of yourself, right? Literally sitting in Buddha style on top of your head on a crystal blue spinning blue plate. So it's going to put into universe communication in symbols and colors. So it's going to store in your brain right before you go to sleep your intention to communicate with your superconscious mind through the color of blue, fifth dimension and above, on top of your head, and you make that intention, and then you slowly fall asleep. And then right when you wake up, that magic moment where you're in theta brainwaves, it depends if you want to imprint what happened in your dreams. Right then, you re-pave those neural pathways, and you're slowly starting to embody your soul, right, while you sleep. Okay? But the number one thing I would say is intention. Words. You have a choice. So for those of you listening out there who might have not experienced their superconscious mind yet, if you want to, you can literally intend that. You say, I want to experience my superconscious mind. I'm ready to wake up. And you hold that intention. Remember, intention is a magnetic frequency that exists between matter. It will attract to you. So if you really feel that, say that right now. I want to work with my superconscious mind. I want to meet my soul. Go to work for me. If you just do that, it's going to send the right teacher, the right book, the right program, the right technique. That magnetic frequency will attract to you everything you need to fulfill that intention if you continue to hold that pure and steady intention, right? Now, meditation is another beautiful way. And if you've learned anything from this, you'll realize when you meditate with an intention to connect to your higher self, like Buddha did under a tree, right? The 11 mind, Buddhic mind, you're connecting when the mind is quiet, right? The heart will speak in that frequency from the avatar, Christos, down into the Buddhic Christic mind, all the way down into the oversoul mind, down into the superconscious mind, D654, and down into the D3 mind, which we learned is the intellectual mind. Now that's translating that information. The D2 mind is relaying that information, right? The emotional intuitive mind through those crystalline particles in the body. And then the D1 subconscious mind is storing that. And then D3 projects that hologram into your reality. You're literally spending time in that meditation, embodying your soul, integrating your ego. And in that moment, you hear your cells start getting the message, I have purpose. And you start getting your soul message from your soul family, I'm not alone. And then maybe like you're in a situation where that martial artist in Japan, another version of you, needs to send in a little bit of protective energy, right? So it can, through that one soul stream, divine, it can send that information in, right? So this is what's possible. This is your limitless potential. And, so there's a bunch of different, meditation techniques out there. Insight Timer on your phone is for free. It has 10,000 free guided meditations, right? So this is the greatest time where if you want, people used to sit outside of a guru's, back in the day for months to receive one mantra. I created a program with 12 eternal life mantras right there. You don't even need that. You go on your own, find the mantra right now. If you want to search for the truth, there's never been a better time. And, the truth will set you free. And all the soul wants is to be free. Freedom. People what they really want is freedom, right? And the soul, in connecting with that part of you, to embody your soul, your superconscious mind, right? And to receive that deep purpose is never been a better time to do that than now. So another way to experience your multidimensional wisdom, unconditional love, and deep purpose of your soul, if you want, is to come to one of our retreats. If you resonate with that, www.transcendencementalhealth. Click Begin Your Journey. It'll be in the show notes. It's a powerful, beautiful way. I travel the world facilitating this. It's been a powerful catalyst in my life. And when I first dropped in, man, words cannot explain the multidimensional wisdom, unconditional love of your own soul. And so thank you so much for tuning in. You are multidimensional. You are eternal. You are who you've been looking for. Take a look inside and you will find you are who you've been looking for the whole time. But look within where? Into your intron potential DNA. I hope that more and more of you will start developing a daily practice where you're connecting with your superconscious mind and you find your purpose and your life becomes freaking amazing. Love, light, peace, and truth to all sentient beings. New Earth, let's go.